it's Jennifer McCollum from the Parent Teens Club, and I am here today with the fabulous Leanne Townsend from Toronto, Canada. Leanne is a family law attorney and a divorce coach. Hi, Leanne.
Hi there. Happy to be here. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us about what you do and how you work with parents of teens.
Well, I am a family law lawyer and divorce coach. So I help people with both the legal aspects and also providing coaching support as they're going through the divorce process, because it is a very traumatic time, usually in most people's lives. And I do have a number of clients who have teenage children, have other ages as well, but definitely lots with teenage children. And so, in addition to just helping them through the legalities of things, I also offer, tips and advice on co-parenting through divorce, co-parenting after divorce, helping them work through parenting schedules, parenting plans, all those sorts of things, because the issues are often different with teenagers versus younger children.
Mhm. I'm so excited to have you here because you have that, the coaching that you can help parents through it. You're not just talking about the legal aspect of divorce, you're really helping coach them through. And I think that's something that could just be a great benefit to the families, to all, the entire family. And you're here today to talk to us about kind of how to co-parent through the divorce the most effective way, so that it's not affecting our kids, our teens. We're not letting all of our emotions really take over. And so you're going to walk with us today through those steps to help us co-parent the divorce. Is that right?
That's right. Because it's a tough time on everybody. And, oftentimes people are in survival mode themselves. So then to have to be parenting and being your best for your children on top of that is a challenge. So, to have as much support as possible is really important.
That's great. Okay, so you have given me 5 steps. So let's walk through those 5 steps with everyone. If you're considering divorce, if you're going through divorce right now, if you've been through a divorce and you're just trying to get things back on, a good opening, good communication with the other parent, and to just take care of the kids. So tell us what your number 1 tip is for us to co-parent through divorce.
My number 1 tip is to always put your children first. They're not the ones getting a divorce. And so it's important to always, put their interests first. It doesn't mean that you don't think about yourself, but you need to make decisions, based on putting them first, and understanding that as traumatic as the process is for you, it is also going to be a challenging time for them. And often people can underestimate how challenging it can be for a teen, because you think, okay, they're a little bit older, they're a little more independent, they don't need mom and dad quite as much. But often, it can be actually even more traumatic for them than for younger children, because they've, grown used to the family unit with their parents together.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great first tip for us. What's the second tip for us?
The second tip is, it kind of ties in with the first one, and it is, don't involve your children in the divorce. They need to know you're getting a divorce. Of course, you want to communicate that, and you want to have conversations surrounding that and addressing, their questions and concerns, but you don't need to involve them in the nitty gritty, that dad cheated on mom and that's why we're getting a divorce, or that, mom cheated on dad, or that, dad doesn't want to pay mom any support, or, all those sorts of things, or mom's dating again. Like, that's just information your children do not need to know about. It has nothing to do with them. And it's really important to keep them, out of all of that stuff.
Wow, great suggestion. Number three, I think, is going to be a tough one. Is it?
It is. Number three is don't badmouth your ex to your children. And, it's hard, right? And I'm divorced myself. And if you were to ask me, have I ever, in all of my life, ever badmouth my ex to my children, I would have to say yes, I have. Sometimes in the heat of the moment when you're really angry or you just get off an angry phone call and your children are right there, it's hard, for them not to see that or for you not to say something in the moment. And when I regret it right away, and I try and fix the situation, and I don't make a habit of it. So I think there's two elements to this. Number one is, try not to do it ever, because it only hurts your children. Again, your children aren't the ones getting a divorce, and they're entitled to have a healthy, happy, strong relationship with both of their parents. And someone is completely capable of being an absolutely horrible spouse, but actually still be a good parent. And you need to keep, what your ex did to you. Dad didn't cheat on the children, and dad maybe cheated on you, and you've got a lot of wounds and things you need to heal about that, but that's not to do with your children. And so it can be really hard, as they say, not to badmouth the other parent, but it only hurts your children. At the end of the day, they want to be loyal and have a good relationship with both parents. They're genetically 50% of both parents, so in a way, if you're bad mouthing, someone who's 50% of who they are, that's going to make them feel bad about themselves as well. So, just try your best not to do it. Have other supports in your life, have friends, family, therapists, coaches, lawyers, all of those types of people. You can badmouth your ex to those people to your heart's content, but do not do it to your children. And then the other component of that is just don't, beat up on yourself if it happens, because I think you'd have to be, almost a saint to never, ever, ever do it. But if you do it, try and fix it right away. Recognize the mistake you made. Don't beat up on yourself. You're human. And move forward, but maybe learn what you could do differently the next time so it doesn't happen.
I think too, once if you didn't mean it, it was the heat of the moment, it doesn't feel good.
No.
I think, just to remind yourself, like, you don't want to feel that feeling again. And the only way to do that is just not to badmouth the ex, right? So
Exactly.
that's a great tip. What's your fourth?
My fourth is to be reasonable with the schedule. I find, especially in the legal component of my business, the law practice, I get situations where, parents have agreed on a certain schedule, and, inevitably life happens, right? I think for all of us, it's very hard to 100% of the time follow a specific schedule. So, something happens, that somebody has something important come up with work, or sometimes there's an important family event on one person's side that falls on a date that's different than what the schedule says. And so I always tell clients to be reasonable. I mean, because you might want the favor at some point yourself. So if you're going to be rigid and harsh with your ex, expect the same treatment back. And I guarantee you, there will be a time when you want to make a change, as a one-off. And of course, you have to be careful. If it's happening all the time, that's a different issue. And I'm not saying to always, be agreeable to every single request to change the schedule that your ex makes. But just, I think we all have a sense of what's reasonable and what's maybe an abuse of that. And so I say be reasonable, make, the odd change here and there. But if it's becoming a constant thing, then, tell your lawyer and just stand firm with the boundaries of it. So, just as they say, exercise your discretion on that a little bit.
That's a great suggestion. And what's your fifth and final tip for us?
Well, this one again ties in with a lot of what I've said, which is to be supportive of your ex's relationship with your children. Because again, it's so important that they have that relationship, and it's important that you just be the bigger person. So even if your ex is being a jerk and they're not doing that, in return, they're not necessarily supporting your relationship. You shouldn't get into this tit for tat, because again, that's only hurting your children. And when your children get older, they will see what you did and they will appreciate it if you were supportive. And this can mean simple things like on Mother's Day or Father's Day or birthdays, helping your children either make something or even purchase something for their mom or dad, because children, it makes them feel good to have a gift to give on Mother's Day or Father's Day to their mom or dad. And, a 13-year-old or 14-year-old, likely doesn't have money of their own. And, little kids are great at making gifts for their parents, but teens aren't as, some maybe are still kind of artsy and whatnot, but a lot of them, they're not going to sit down and draw a picture, for mom or dad. So they want to maybe go and be able to buy something, and you don't have to spend a fortune, but it's really not going to kill you to, let your children have a little bit of money to go do something like that, and it'll make them feel really good. So, little things like that can go a long way. So just generally be supportive, and again, don't get into this, while they're doing that, my ex is doing this, my ex is doing that. Just be the bigger person. And in the long run, as you say, your children will appreciate it.
That is awesome. Okay, so to recap those 5 steps for us and how to co-parent through divorce and beyond. Number 1, put your kids first. Number 2, don't involve them in the divorce. They don't need to know the details. Number 3, don't badmouth your ex. Number 4, be reasonable and flexible. And number 5, support their relationship with your ex by always being the bigger person. Those are 5 fabulous suggestions. Thank you so much, Leanne, for just walking with us as we unpack that. Now, can you tell us, you're in Toronto, you have an office people can come to, but do you also work with people online?
I do. I coach people all over the world. So I do that on Skype or Zoom, or the phone even. And I do, within Ontario, I do have legal clients sometimes who are, say in London or Peterborough or, somewhere else. And for whatever reason, they've wanted they like me, they feel a connection with me, they want to work with me. And so, in certain situations where it's appropriate, I also, take on clients who are outside of the Toronto region, in my legal practice. So I'm definitely, and I have programs on my website. I have coaching programs people can enroll in and whatnot. So there's a lot of information there for people.
I think it's just amazing. Again, I know I said it at the beginning, but that you are an attorney and you're also a coach for parents. So I think it's a beautiful combination, and I know that you're just doing so much good work. So thank you so much for being here. Now, your website, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but it is leannetownsend.ca, and you can also
Yes.
find Leanne on our parentteens.club website, and connect with her there, and all of her social media and website where you can read up a little bit more about Leanne. So you can find her in many ways. And after this chat that we're having, I will list out those 5 steps for you again, because I just think they are invaluable. So thank you so much, Leanne.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
I hope you come back and share more of you with us.
Definitely. I'd love that.
Thank you, Leanne. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
You too. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.